Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to my review of the Daisy Powerline 426. This was only $30, but is it worth the low price? I'll include a link below the video if you want to pick one up. Alright, so that is the safety. It is a trigger block type of safety. It has a little accessory rail. It's got a notch type sight and a blade front sight. Notice these are not fiber optic. A lot of people put some brightly colored paint on those so they can see it better. So according to Daisy, the maximum feet per second, 430 FPS. It shoots BBs and it has a 15-shot internal magazine. Alright, so how do you put in the CO2? Well, you have to pull this off, like so. So the CO2 cylinder goes in there. Alright. Put this back on. Make sure it's secure. Now, this part right here is the internal magazine. Alright, so you load the BBs into there and it's going to take 15 BBs. And we got us some Daisy BBs right here. Okay, so I loaded 14 BBs in here, and this one will be 15. There you go. Now release the follower. Right now, you got to take the safety off, and this is actually ready to fire. Alright YouTube, I'm going to hold the camera with one hand, try to give you like a first-person shooter type view. So we'll see how this goes. Alright, that was a little tricky. If the red part was the heart of the bad guy, I think he'd be severely hurt. Now the thing about this internal magazine, it's simple, but being out here on the field, it is kind of a pain in the ass to sit there individually loading it, whereas if you had a detachable magazine, you could load several of them before you come out here. But of course you'd have to buy several, so it would be more expensive. So the internal magazine has, you know, pros and cons. Okay, well, we've got CO2. Let's do the spam test. I'm going to shoot this spam tin just to see, you know, how well it penetrates. Alright, so we shot it numerous times. And they did not go through, but as you can see, you know, you see the dents there. Alright, so they go through the first layer of the tin and all the way through the meat, and then they are stopped by the last layer of the tin. Alright, so that's good information to know. I mean, it's fairly powerful for a BB gun. Alright, so how many shots are you going to get from one CO2? Well, you're going to get about 5 magazines worth, so at least 75. Alright, let's further reduce the can population. Let me tell you a little story. When I turned 18 years old, I drove about an hour down the highway from where I lived to a store called Service Merchandise. And I bought my first firearm, which was a Marlin Model 60, right? On my birthday, when I turned 18 and I was old enough to be able to buy one for myself. But I probably would have not made that purchase if not for the fact that when I was younger, I was running around the woods with Daisy and CROSMAN air guns, just becoming familiar with the basics of shooting, right? So something like this, you know, it's a key. It's a key to a gateway that can lead to more powerful air guns as well as to real firearms, right? And the young person that starts off with this, 10 or 15 years later, that young person could be an Army Ranger, right? And it all started with an air gun like this. So overall, do I feel that this was worth it? Absolutely, absolutely. This is a great bargain. This would make an excellent gift for a younger person. If you like air guns as well as knives and other gear, you should definitely subscribe to me. Speaking of knives, here's a little preview. This is a Byrd Harrier 2 fully serrated model. Byrd is actually a budget line of Spyderco. So definitely stay tuned for a review of this, and I'll put a link to this underneath this video as well as links to a lot of air guns as well.